We're all across Canada and 31 U.S. states. America, actually the home of our next guest, Shayne McGowan, but he's been in Canada for quite some time. Cup of coffee in the CFL, played at USC. You think, Shayne McGowan, I forgot, but I haven't. How you doing, big man? Mental strength coach, by the way, in Winnipeg. What's up, big fella?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you down there in Boca Raton?
It's good, man. Waiting for you to come visit. I can tell you that for free. Hey, I should have sent you a text or two to say, what do you want to talk about? Because you and I generally sit and talk for hours. So the very first thing that popped into my mind, because Shayne is a mental strength coach dealing with a variety of athletes, plus corporations, businesses, and all that. But here's one. The first thing that popped into my head, Shayne, is this. The Argos, their fans are worried that at 11-1, they've clinched too soon. First place, and now the games aren't going to mean anything the rest of the way. How would you deal with that? Is that a legitimate worry?
Of course, it's a legitimate worry because Winnipeg goes through that same thing as well themselves. You know, how many times has the Bombers, well, they can clinch it now, and everyone says the same thing? That might be a little too soon. You know, are they going to still play aggressively moving forward and everything like that? So I think in Toronto's case, because this is all brand new, you got a hot team out there. You got a hot quarterback that's able to make some things happen. I really like how Chad Kelly's playing. There's no question about that. And I think Coach Dinwiddie's got these guys firing. But again, too, is there's also going to be a little bit like you had when you had Jim on earlier there talking about he picked Toronto to make it all the way. And I'm not questioning that at all. But does Dinwiddie there have those guys in check, in control, to make sure that come these next 6 games that they still got to play, how are we going to function in the playoffs? You know, and this is number one. This is key. Not worrying about injuries, but how are we doing up here? Are we still focused? Are we still gung-ho? And can we take care of this? And like I said, they're rolling pretty good. But this test is going to be very big for them against Hamilton. There's no question about that.
Okay, well, I guess I look at it differently than most, as do you, because I think we look at it the same way. I'm like, it's not a problem if you deal with it properly, because it is a mental issue. But I forget that not every team does deal with the mental side properly, correct? Now, I'm not saying Toronto won't, but that's why it could be a threat.
Exactly. And look, as we heard earlier, Ottawa's having their own little problems in-house at certain things, right? You know, Saskatchewan's been all over the place, up and down, and things like this too. So you're right. Not every team is dealing with it the way they should, but there are coaches that have been around long enough, and I think in good organizations to say, hey, listen, this is the way we got to take it. This is the way we got to move forward with it. Players got to trust the process because look at where it's gotten you so far, 11-1. You got to trust the process and what we're doing, and that's huge. And even this week when you had Adam Dickill on, I mean, he said the same thing. You know, when you come to Winnipeg, there's a protocol. You got to fit in. You got to be able to understand how we are and what we are here to do, and that is to win. That's our focus. No different. But there are some teams that don't take this very seriously, and you're starting to see that now that we are in, as you guys have said earlier, playoff weeks. I mean, this is now all about playoffs right now. Edmonton, Calgary, Saskatchewan. These guys are all in playoff mode sets. They got to get their stuff happening.
Okay, well, that was my question. Was clinching too soon? It's like scoring too soon, leaving too much time on the clock. Play defense, you'll be fine. What's on your mind? What? Because you're a football guy, what's your focus this weekend?
Focus is always control. You got to be in control at all times. Look at we all know the CFL. Anything could happen in the last 2 minutes of the game. There's no question about that, and we've seen that in so many ways. These games that are coming up, they're very exciting in many ways. As a coach, you want to have that control. As that quarterback in every team, you want to have that control and say, let me be in control of how we're going to run the ball, pace the time, I guess you could say, with the throws and everything like that. Defense has to come out and play aggressive. Every defense needs to start playing a lot more aggressive out there and make sure that they can get the ball back in time for these teams to get out there and do their thing. So like I said, it's all about control. But again, you got to trust the process. But you're also, I think, going to see now, as we start getting into the, what you want to say, playoff mode, defenses are going to start scheming a little bit differently now, too. You're not going to see that same old run-of-the-mill of what we saw before. just like offenses are going to throw out a few extra little hitches just to kind of say, as we move into conference and playoffs mentality and stuff like that, we need to change it up a little bit. You've been stagnant now for past 12 games. We got to change it up. So I'm expecting a little bit more faster pace on some of these games too.
Who are you speaking of specifically?
I think Toronto needs to be a lot faster. Like if we're talking about this week and stuff, I'm saying Toronto's going to be faster. I think Edmonton is also going to try to play fast as well too, and keep that momentum going the way they have offensively wise. But these are the things. Calgary is just like very flat. I mean, let's just call it as it is. They are just flat out there. They can't find that rhythm that they want to be in. And I think that's more frustrating for the players naturally, but the coaches as well, because they've got something in plan of what they want to do, but it is not working in their favor.
Well, hey, it's the home stretch. And I mean, I don't try to be a coach of a team, and we're going to get into the mental strength coaching in a second. But I mean, I'm just sitting there watching these games as a fan. Last week, BC scored 20 points in 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Edmonton scored 10 points in 80 seconds. Boys, you got to play 60 minutes. Like does that not just taking your eye off the ball? I mean, I love the comebacks, but they can be prevented, right?
Oh, most definitely. You know what I mean? And like you said, is that if I'm going to score that many points in such a short time, you better be consistent and keep scoring it. Or your defense better be able to stop them each and every time out there. And we know that's not happening, right? Again, you start taking your foot off the gas. You know what I mean? You start playing a little bit more conservative. You start doing certain things, and all of a sudden that backfires because if you're the team behind, you got nothing to lose but to go out there and give it everything you got, right? So that's going to cause a little bit of chaos. Then you got to still figure out what type of penalties are going to come because there are going to be penalties and things are going to go not in your favor. So like I said, the pace of the game, I'm expecting it to be quicker, but I'm also expecting it to be, as I said, time-wise, coaches are in control of the time and the players, the quarterback especially, be in control. I like Zach Collaros for that because I do think he is one of those guys that can do that on a continuous basis. I think a few of these other quarterbacks get a little too rattled at certain times and they can't control it like that, and then they start panicking way too much.
Shayne, let me just ask you this in the time we have left. The services you provide and how teams or individuals, parents can get a hold of you.
Yeah, you can reach me at mentaledgeperformance.ca as well as all my social media here at mental_edge_performance. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've been doing this with every league in the business, and from the grassroots all the way to the pros. You know what I mean? And it's about getting you prepared to that next level and how you want to succeed. And that's all it is.
Shayne, keep in touch, my man. Always good to see your face. Appreciate the time. Let's do it again.
Always, Roddy. Have a great weekend, buddy.